So let's see the array problems. So we were solving top 50 array coding problems for interviews. Now we were under level 2. We needed to complete this problem, that is subarray with equal ones and zeros. So it is quite interesting, right? Like a very interesting problem. So let me explain you how it works. So first let me explain you the question. So there will be they will be giving you the array and it contains only zeros and ones. So find the number of subarrays having equal number of zeros and ones. That's it. So it is not a subsequence. So they will be giving you the subarray. Sorry, they will be giving you the array. You need to find all these subarrays. Then you need to check whether that subarray has equal number of ones and zeros. And you need to return how many subarrays are there with equal number of zeros and ones. That's it. So let us see the brute approach or naive approach. So it is again easy. I will start from 0. Okay, it is just like finding all the subarrays. Then I will range till n, then I plus plus. And one thing to make sure that you take all the zeros as -1, because when you do the sum, then you will get 0, right? So you can do that. So make all the zeros as -1, then you come into this outer for loop. So you traverse through all the array elements, and there will be inner for loop, and let me take it as j. So it will start from I, right? Then it will go till n. Okay, then j plus plus, and before that let me take sum. Here sum as 0, right? Sum as 0. Let me take counter here with value 0. So I will get inside. So if again I need to find the sum from each and every time, right? Each and every time of this function I need to find the sum, and each and every time if sum becomes 0, then I need to increment the count. So that is what I need to do. So for that, what I can do is I can simply take a sum should be sum plus or equal to ARR of j, right? I will get a value. So if this value, so after getting a value, if this value, or I should write inside, right? So if this sum is equal to 0, right, at that time you can increment the count, right? Then your count control will move again to this function, to this loop. Then again j will be incremented. Again sum will be calculated for that. Then again if that sum is 0, then count will be incremented, and it goes on. Again I will be incremented, and j will point from I to n. So each and every subset we are getting, and we are finding the sum, and if the sum is coming out to be 0, then I am incrementing. So you can return count at last. So this is a naive approach, but this is not this code is this technique is not accepted here, because the time complexity is b of n. Some test cases will fail, will give you TLE. Let's use some other technique to solve this. So other technique is, you need some map here, like I need a map here. So let me call that map as m, right? Okay, then I need some. So initially let this sum variable be 0. Okay, then result, I need a result, let it be 0, and this is what the variable that I am returning, right? Number of zeros and ones are possible. That is what I am returning finally. So this is that result. I am taking it as res. Now there is a, so let me take this itself. Okay, this is your array. Now what you need to do is, you need to traverse through this array, right? I need to take a map first of all. Okay, now you need to take a sum. Okay, then you need to traverse through this array. I am traversing, it's starting from 0, it will go till n, then I plus plus. Then I will take this sum. So sum will be initially 0. Now I am making it is equal to ARR of I, right? Okay. Now if this sum, right, if this sum comes out to be 1, and before that I should mention that I need to make, so let me mention that. So you need to consider 1 as a 1 and 0 as a, so 1 you want to consider it as 1 and 0 you want to consider it as -1, right? So if this array, what you are searching here, what you are searching, this array, if it is equal to 1, if it is equal to 1, then you need to increment this sum, right? You need to increment, else you need to decrement. I will tell you how, why I am doing so. Now I need to decrement. Okay. Now you need to check the map. After that, after completing this statement, you will get a sum value, right? You need to check whether that sum is present in map or not, right? Whether it is present or not. Okay, if it is present, then you increment its value, right? First of all, before incrementing the value, you need to consider increment the resultant by its value. That means, let me explain you. Let me take again 1 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, right? So you need to take a sum. If it is equal, so sum value will be initially 0. It will be 0. Now when you see 1, you need to increment the sum, so sum will become 1. So when you see, so again you need to check the map whether sum is there or not. So one an initial condition of map is it should have 0 and 1, right? It should have a key that is valued 0, then the value of and the value of that key 0 should be 1. This is the initial condition. Now because I am taking initially sum as 0, right? So okay, now sum will become 1, right? When it sees this 1, when it is traversing through array, at that time you need to check the map whether 1 is there or not. Yes, 1 is not there, then you put that 1 into map, right? 1 into map and increment it, because you saw 1 how many times? 1 time, right? So you increment it. Okay, now next go to the next traversal. Next you are traversing the array, right? Then you see 0, then you need to do -1. As I said, you need to decrement this sum. So sum was 1, now it will become 0. Now you check the map whether 0 is there or not. If 0 is there, then you increment its value, and before incrementing you need to check its value, and resultant should be incremented that many times. So resultant, so when you find when sum becomes 0, you need to check whether that 0 is there in map. Yes, it is there. Then take its value and increment that much value to the resultant, right? Okay, resultant will become 1. Now you increment this 1 by 2 because you saw 0, right? Second time sum is becoming 0, that is why I am incrementing the value of key 0 to 2. Now again you traverse through the array, you got 0, then you need to do -1, so it will become -1. Again you need to check that element is there in map or not. If it is not there, then you simply add that element and increment its value. Okay, because why you are incrementing? Because you saw that element once. Now again go further, you saw what? You saw 1, that means you need to add +1, that means sum will become 0. So check whether that element is there in some in map or not. Yes, it is there. Then take its value and increment resultant by that many value. So 1 was the resultant initially, now it is becoming 3. So where am I? I am at this position, right? At this position, and you need to increment the map to 3. Sorry, you need to increment the value of 0 to 3 because you saw again 0, right? So you need to increment. Okay, now what is the resultant value? Resultant is 3. So you completed till now, till this index you have completed the traversal. Now you check whether, again you don't need to do this in coding, but I am explaining you whether you get the correct answer or not. So you check all the subarrays between these four elements. So 0 and 1. So this is a one possible case, and this 0 and 1. Okay, this is one possible case, and this 1 0 0 1. So there are equal number of zeros and ones in all of these three cases, all these three subarrays. So you are getting resultant as 3. So that is how it works. So whenever you see 0, how it is actually working is, whenever it sees 0 again, right? Here it saw 0 again. That means what? Initially I had this value called 0. Now somewhere in the loop I got, somewhere in the code I got 0 again. That means what? There was some elements, so they subtracted, they nullified each other. So I'm giving they nullified each other, so they gave me 0 again, right? That is how it works. Again, let's go and find, again 0 I got. Now next element is what? 0. Again you need to do -1. Check whether that element is there or not. Yes, it is there. That is -1. Yes, it is there, and its value is what? 1. So increment resultant by 1, so it will become 4, and you need to increment this also by 1, that is 2. Okay. Now between these five elements you can check. You will get 4 different subarrays, right? You will get, definitely you will get. That is, this subarray will be added to the count. So that is how it goes on, and it will give you the result. So let me write code for that. So again, simple. You need what? You need a sum. So initially it should be 0. Now I need a resultant. It should be initially 0. Then I need a map, and it should be having int, and let me take int again. So let me call it as m. Now I need to traverse through the array. What I said, same thing, I am executing everything in coding. So if you know the topic, then again coding is not at all a big thing. Now you are traversing through array. Now if, right, if this ARR of I, if it's found to be 1, then you increment the sum, else you decrement the sum, right? Obviously that is what you need to do. Now you need to check whether that sum is there in the map or not. M dot find m dot find sum. If it is there, right, it will be not equal to m dot end. You know that. So if it is not there, that means you need to increment the resultant by what? You need to increment resultant by the value. Then you need to increment the value as well, right? Sum should be equal to, it should be incremented. Now else, if it is not there, it means you add that element. That's it. You need to add that element. If it is not there, then at last you return me resultant. That's it. RET resultant. Let me run. Let's see whether we get any compiler error or not. Compilation error. So I'm getting 5, but my answer is 8. Why? So what would be the problem now? I need to return. So 5 expected is 8. I am going through this. And I created a map, then I took sum as 0, then and I forgot this step. I need to make initially map first. It should have a first element, right? I said you that initially it will have 0. So I forgot that step, so I will get error. Let me run. So it is giving me the proper result. So let me submit. So all the test cases will be passed, I think. Okay. So this is about finding number of zeros and ones in subarray. And if you want to solve more array problems, which are so much important, then you can visit this playlist. I have created a playlist for only for arrays. So I will be discussing nearly 50 problems which is there in Geeks for Geeks. You can type it, top 50 problems on array for interview, like that you can type in and you will get. So thank you.